Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD, and it's time for some more StarCraft 2 games. After the resounding comments on the last IPL cast that I did, which was just yesterday actually, a lot of people seem to enjoy it, and I guess more people were asking for some more high-quality matches, and I thought, you know, what better way than to search through the IPL replay pack that I have and find games that actually were kind of obscured, maybe not have been casted on stage, or maybe you just didn't see it because it wasn't on Championship Sunday. And it seems like a lot of people nevertheless enjoyed the last game I did, which was actually one of the finals, the games that I did yesterday. So I figured, why not go ahead and bring out this one. This is going to be Puma and Creator. And already, I'm sure most of you guys, or some of you guys, should know who Creator is. If not Creator, then you should definitely know who Puma is. Puma is the winner of NASL Season 1. NASL, of course, standing for North American Star League. That's the abbreviation. And Puma was the champion of NASL Season 1. He actually defeated MC in one of the most epic grand finals ever, going all the way to the 7th game. So, that's Puma. He's known to be a Terran versus Protoss monster. He's absolutely a home wrecker, if you can call it a home wrecker in StarCraft 2. He'll take your wife and steal her away from you. That's how bad he is, or how good he is, depending on how you want to look at it. And his opponent, Creator Prime, I'll talk a little bit about him. He's more of a Code A player. Had some glimpses of glory. Almost actually beat MVP one time in the GSL, which he almost did. It was like a 1-2. It was a really close series. So he can play Protoss versus Terran, but if I had to throw the money down, I would definitely put it on Puma here, who is going for a very fast natural command center. Actually, might lose his SCV. No, saves it at the last second. Good timing right there. So yeah, this is actually from Group C. And you guys might not have tuned in to the group stages. This might have been on Friday or Saturday. And so hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is going to be another one of my casts from brought to you guys by HD, of course. Brought to you not only by me, but also by IPL. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and we'll see what happens here. Puma is going for the first and second barracks at the front door, just kind of blocking off from the main. And that means that the natural is somewhat unstable. It's a little unsafe. Although with 2 SCVs here, the probe is going to fall. Nice micro. And the reason why I say it might be unstable, not only now, but also in the future, is because, of course, the Protoss can launch some type of an attack there and try to take advantage of the fact that really there's no Marines yet. However, it looks like our Protoss player Creator is opting to go for a very fast Nexus as well. And both players going to open up with the macro game here. And on Atlantis Spaceship, this is the name of the map, by the way. Huge map, lots of expansions. You typically want to expand very rapidly. There's kind of two ways to play Terran versus Protoss from either Terran or Protoss viewpoints. You can either go for one barracks or one gateway expand, or you can go for fast Nexus, fast command center, and then start building your gateway slash barracks production facilities behind that. And it depends on the map. On a small map, you typically want to go one gate, one barracks expand. On a big map like this, you usually want to go very fast Nexus, very fast command center, and that's what we see these two players doing. Nice timing on the Stalker as well. It will, whoa, will definitely kill off that SCV as it was trying to break some ankles there, but you cannot break a Stalker's ankles because they are, well, they're immortal. The Zealot becomes the Dragoon, and I think the Dark Templar became the Stalker. That's kind of mythology from Brood War. Speaking of which, the Guild Wars 2 video should be coming out after this series, hopefully. I haven't had time to work on it yet. I just wanted to go ahead and get right into casting more StarCraft 2 high-quality games from IPL. And, of course, we're only a couple weeks away from Diablo 3. I'm very excited about that. And I don't know what to play first. Diablo 3 and Guild Wars 2 both coming out at the same time. But seeing as how I'm more of a Blizzard fanboy, I guess I'd have to stick with my roots Diablo. But I'll try to do a little bit of both. And what do we have here? A couple of Stalkers coming in from Creator. And he's going to have to try to eke out as many advantages as he can. But losing a Stalker here would not be good at all It would not be Prime for Creator Prime. But he's doing a very good job microing here. Wow, this is some Gosu stuff. Picking off Marines, using the Stalker with more HP in the front to take shots. And that's okay if his Stalkers take permanent damage because, you know, as long as they kill off Marines, that's a permanent loss. Taking some permanent damage on the hull of the Stalker, while it's permanent damage, at least it's not a permanent loss. They can still regenerate shields. Now, it looks like we do have a very quick third Nexus coming up here for Creator. That's pretty interesting. That's actually extremely bold. But you know what? On a map like Atlantis Spaceship, it's all about expanding. It's all about grabbing as many resource nodes as possible and getting yourself prepped up for the late game. So can't blame them there, as we saw a lot of players early on on the advent of this map. They kind of opted to play one base strategies or two base at most, but now we're seeing players getting more familiar with the map and then feeling like they're comfortable enough to play the macro game. One SCV here going to try to scooch its way inside. Do note the Protoss has a significant probe advantage right now due to Chrono Boost, but that is made up for by Mules. Puma with 2 bunkers at the front door. You can never have enough bunkers, man. I always say build more bunkers until you feel safe enough to build less bunkers. Don't do it the other way around. And we can see Puma, you know, making 2. That's going to keep him safe from most attacks. He's also definitely pumping out the bio here with NG Bay upgrades, +1/+1 stim pack, combat shields. The whole works here, as he's even got 2 tech labs on his barracks. That's going to help him with both upgrades and to make a lot of Marauders as well. Observer finally making its way inside, and it's going to get a pretty decent scout off in here, figuring out what's going on. By the way, guys, I did not cast this game, nor did I see it. This is, like I said, from Group C. I was actually casting Group A with Pain User in the morning. So after that set, I kind of went outside, got some dinner, got some lunch and then dinner. And so I actually did not see these games, so this is spoiler-free for me. And yeah, I'm very excited to see who's going to win. I'm a little bit concerned about Puma not grabbing the third yet, and I didn't see a command center in base. He did just kill off the Observer, which is a nice pick. But, you know, he still hasn't grabbed the third, and now the supply tab's kind of reflecting on the fact that Creator not only had more probes because of the Chrono Boost to start things off with, but he also expanded much sooner as well. So, I don't know, this could be bad news for Puma, who's typically known as the Protoss killer. We'll have to see, man. I'd really like to see him grab a third now, rather than waiting any longer. He knows that there's got to be a Nexus here because he's already seen the pylon. One factory moving out across the map right now, and it's just going to float a whole bunch of hostile hostile ground forces. And it can't even make its way over this little ledge because of the Observer. And yeah, that factory is definitely going to go down. But maybe Puma using the factory as a distraction here. And he's going to try to launch an attack through the right side where that third Nexus is at. However, it looks like Creator already prepared for that, warping in a lot of Zealots. By the way, 1-1 is the upgrades for the ground. For the Protoss, 1-1 also for the Terran. And 2-2 on the way for both sides as well, with the Terran just leading slightly in terms of timing. It looks like this was also a diversion for a drop over in the main. That's really the key. The signature to being able to play high-level Terran versus Protoss is being able to, from a Terran standpoint, is being able to do diversions, distract the Protoss army, and then go in with medevac drops to the side. And that's kind of the name of the modern-day Protoss as well, kind of brought to you by Whitera, all about distracting you, causing diversions, and then coming in with a Warp Prism and dropping a whole bunch of crap in your base. And it's always a scary thing. Looks like Puma is gonna go ahead and grab the third here. Let's see what the tier 3 tech these two players are opting for here is. We do have Colossus coming for Creator, so he's going for Colossus rather than actually he's adding on Charge as well. So he's gonna have a mixture, which is actually really good. You want to have a mixture of not only Colossus but also Charge lots. So, too often players focus too much on one or the other, and that can kind of pigeonhole them sometimes. Puma, on the other hand, getting Ghosts. He's actually got the Academy down, but no Cloak as of yet. He's thinking about making another attack here. More units warping in at the front. And there's the Guardian Shield that really helps against the bio. And anytime that Guardian Shield comes up, sometimes Terran players will just say, you know what, I'll just back off and wait for a better spot. And Puma here kind of backing off. Surprisingly not using that as a diversion to drop into the main. I thought he would have. But nowadays we see a lot of Protoss players even saving a little bit of their warp gates and a little bit of their timing on their warp gates to drop units as soon as a drop is impending. And speaking of impending drops here, we have 4 medevacs full going across the side. The Observer, I do not think, saw it, and the entire Protoss army is out of position. We'll see if Creator is ready to drop in or warp in some units here. He does have timing ready here. That's what I was talking about. Protoss players will save their warp gate timing as he's not maxed. He's actually almost maxed here. But he's got supply capacity free to go, and he's just waiting to warp in when he needs to. And here we go. He should have enough capacity to warp, but it looks like he's engaging on the other side of the map here. The Terran player, Puma, trying to use diversions here to catch his opponent off guard, and it looks like he's gotten a significant drop in here, but the Protoss army is coming in. Meanwhile, Chargelot's chasing in the middle of Atlanta's spaceship. That Colossus is there in the main though, and the main base of Creator should be okay. It should be safe. Meanwhile, he's also giving a good chase over to Puma here. Puma, I think, in a lot of trouble, and right now Creator taking the opportunity to expand to the double gas location, but the Colossus just went down. Puma, if he can escape with this medevac, no, he does not. The Stalker blinks forward at the very last second and takes it out. Nice job by Creator, and unbelievably, you know, I would have said Puma any day, any time. The Terran versus Protoss killer, the Protoss Gravedigger, but it looks like Creator here doing a very good job, and I have to say, lately Creator has been showing a lot of good Protoss play. He is kind of the rising star, really, in Protoss speak. And we'll see if he can live up for the Protoss here, because we all know that Protoss have been suffering at the top level of StarCraft 2. In fact, even Blizzard admits it. You know, not at the pro level, but at the top of the pro level, Protoss have been having a hard time securing those championships. So we'll see if Creator can kind of hold up the hopes of the Protoss on his shoulders. And meanwhile, it looks like a lot of ghosts in production for Puma. He needs to get those ghosts out on the field. Those EMP shockwaves as well as snipes can be very handy. We also have ship weapons coming here. That's good for Vikings to counter the Colossi. And he's got a couple of Vikings out, about 5 or 6. Just enough, I think. Maybe he could use a couple more to deal with this many Colossi, you know, 3. But you know, because he doesn't have so many Vikings, that means he has more supply for ghosts and more supply to make this drop happen, but he's still down by 1 base. Don't forget the Protoss has the middle expansion. Here comes Puma, dropping everything inside the main base, and it doesn't look like Creator's got any supply to warp in anything. He's just gonna go for the counterattack, and here we go. It's a full-on base trade. Base race, EMP shockwave whiffs. Vikings, though, doing a good job on the high ground to pick off these Colossi. And Puma just trying to keep his units on the high ground so that he's got the best position. I have to bring up the HUD so that I can see what's going on inside the drop. The drop is actually killed off the main base, and now going after the warp gates. That's absolutely huge, because Creator is going to slowly lose the ability to reinforce his army as his warp gates continue to drop, and now Creator's got to make the decision. Do I fall back? It looks like he will, as he cannot fight in a base trade when he cannot reinforce, and he's losing everything inside the main, his entire infrastructure getting carved out here, and that is the power of Terran drops. What is Puma going to do? Meanwhile, the upgrades at 3-3 for the Protoss, 2-3 for the Terran, but he's about to get 3 armor, so it's pretty much dead even. We also have the Protoss going for Dark Templar here, and Psionic Storm looks like it was halted in its production as the Templar Archives is unpowered. Somebody called the power company. Meanwhile, it looks like Puma, who's been able to hold off the base trade attack, is now going to begin pushing out. He's also secured the pocket expansion of his own, and things all of a sudden swinging heavily in the Terran's favor. You know, I was going to say Puma was looking very bad this game. I thought he was going to lose, but then Creator goes in for the counterattack and lets his entire base gets carved open, and all of a sudden the tables have flipped. Puma also just picking off another Colossus there. Can he get another one? The +2 weapons, Vikings doing so much damage. Now the charge lots being called in, ghosts are cloaked, and I think Puma is going to take this battle in the middle of the map. And that, of course, opens an avenue to attack right into this Nexus. He's also dropping once again into the Protoss main base. Puma showing his dominancy in Terran versus Protoss, even if he's behind. Doesn't even matter. He can still come back and win the game with superior decision making and better gameplay, really dropping when his opponent wasn't ready for it. Just all over the map, and look at this huge bio ball. It can absolutely shred everything, and it's all over the place in the main base, downfield, outside the natural, now going into the third. It looks like our Protoss player Creator not giving up though, expanding to the neutral expansion in the bottom right, and then bringing his Protoss units around. Hey, if Puma could do it, then why not Creator? But oh man, Creator's losing all of his warp gates. That's got to be the last warp gates he's got. He's trying to remake them desperately right now at the neutral expansion, and setting up all of his units, blinking up to the high ground. Now, if he can pick off the infrastructure of the Terran, he might not be in a bad spot. However, the problem is Terran infrastructure can lift off, and we should see Puma immediately begin to sound the blaring horns and lift off all of his buildings. I don't know why he hasn't quite yet. He should just evacuate, maybe lift it off and bring it over here or something. But it looks like he just doesn't care. He knows he's got the bigger army, just kind of waltzing across the map, shredding everything in his path, kills off the pocket nexus, and now Creator just down to 1 nexus at the neutral expansion. He has a sizable army, so I guess he's not entirely out of it yet. Both players' SCV count and probe count pretty much down to nothing. 11 workers and 1. Look at how Puma, I love how he hides some of his Marauders in the back area right here. That is actually going to keep those Marauders alive for a very long time. Just getting cost efficient, using the buildings as a labyrinth to help keep the melee units away. But you know, when the two armies finally do end up meeting, I fear that Creator's army just isn't that large. It's not large enough to deal with this, and he's trying to use Dark Templar right now to whittle it down. You know, funnily enough, there isn't any orbital commands. Oh my god, there is one orbital command right here. But there we go, dropping a comsat, not sure from where. There it is, right there. And Puma immediately, Creator immediately realizing, hey, if I pick off the orbitals or at least keep them up in the air, then my opponent won't be able to see my DTs. And oh, but the EMP shockwave counters the Dark Templar, of course. And that should pretty much do it for our Protoss. Although he hasn't given up yet. He did mine a lot of gas out of the rich Vespine Geyser. No, he actually did not. I thought he did. I was going to say maybe that's what's keeping him going is the gas, because he's got a lot of Archons, and he's still got some gas reserves. Well, he did expand really rapidly over here, and he mined some of the gas, maybe not out of the rich one, but out of the normal ones. And he's kind of making use of that. That's what's kind of keeping his blood pumping right now. And his Dark Templar is still kind of slashing away, but the orbital goes, drops the comsat and saves itself. What is this little Marine doing? Just going for a scouting mission, I suppose. And Puma just has to go hunt the Protoss player. He's trying to figure out where is the Protoss base. He doesn't know right now. If you guys look on the mini, he has no idea that Creator did go to the neutral expansion. Creator actually has a lot of Archons, so we'll see, man. But this army is so massive. Both players, by the way, maxed out on their upgrades. Dark Templar still kind of slashing away. Here we go! And Creator going in, but he's getting EMP'd. And will the Archons be enough? Are they buff enough? They do have 2 armor as well, doing a lot of damage. But no, it will not be enough. And Puma gets the first W in this best of 3. This is, by the way, guys, from Group C of IPL 4. Hope you guys enjoyed. And let's go ahead and rewind. Alright, and let's go ahead and look at, I think this is the most interesting part of the game, by the way. Hope you guys enjoyed these little dissections of the replay. Let me know if you do. But I think this is the most interesting part of this game. How Puma, look at it, look at how far behind he is. 141 supply to 178, pretty much down by 30 supply-ish, and almost 40 actually. And you know, look at how many, he's down by a base as well, as Creator's about to complete the pocket expansion, which does have a lot of gas, and gas for Protoss is so good. Think about how many Archons and Templars you can go with. The late game, I think, on Atlantis Spaceship, heavily favoring Protoss. So what did Puma say to himself? You know, I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to play passive. I'm going to load up some of my army into these medevacs, because if you think about it, if the Protoss attacks him right now, he's probably dead. He's probably dead anyways, right? So why leave his entire army there when they're going to die and he's not going to get anything out of it? if the Protoss attacks, when he could just send out some of his army, try to do some damage, and, you know, leave the rest of his army behind. They're going to die anyways, but hey, maybe he can somehow, in the shot of dark, get back in this game. And so he loads up his medevacs and goes out across the field, and this is just genius. This is what you got to do. You got to be able to attack all the time. I really think the best defense in StarCraft 2 is a good offense. So here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Protoss is set up to go. He's pretty much maxed out. Huge army. No way that... What does Puma do? He says, okay, you know what? I know I can't win a head-on engagement, so I'm going to go up to the high ground where my Vikings have a great chance to shoot down your Colossi. Plus, I can maneuver through the labyrinth of my main base. I can use the buildings to my advantage. Yeah, you're going to kill off my natural, but hey, it's okay, because hey, what are you going to do about this drop over here? And he's kind of crossing his fingers and hoping, hey, Creator doesn't have an answer. So look at what happens here and how far he was so far behind, but he pulls himself ahead by like his own bootstraps. And this entire drop while it's going on, there's no response from Creator, who just says, you know what, okay, fine, I will go for the base trade. But he doesn't realize the advantage you get from this high ground here with the Vikings shooting down the Colossi, and then all the Terran units kind of compacted up there, and all the meanwhile, look at what's going on in here. So that in itself, and look, and now finally Creator says, all right, fine, I can't attack up the ramp. I know I have a better army, but I can't attack because of the terrain disadvantage, and the longer I kind of hesitate out here, the more my base gets eaten up alive. So he has to pull back. That's more time wasted, and all of a sudden, because of this, the tables totally turn in favor of Puma, and Puma is kind of the master of that. So, what a job by him. He actually kept that medevac alive too. Man, what a genius. And able to kind of grab his own pocket expansion and pull ahead in this game. That is to me was probably the most interesting part of this game. I hope you guys enjoyed the little dissections and stuff. Let me know. By the way, hope you guys are all having a great weekend. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th, which was actually yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed. And game 2 between Puma and Creator is going to be coming up next, and that's where that medevac kind of came back in to do some extra damage. All right, I'll see you guys in game 2.